And I just said that.
All right, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk About It, a podcast where we get together and talk about life. We talk about current events and giving veterans a voice to kind of understand the transitioning between active duty and civilian life. Before we get started, I'm Lewis.
I'm Ray.
And I'm Nick.
And today we're sporting our beautiful suffocation devices. The Chinese virus is actually getting worse in our area. And we just kind of wanted to be cognizant of that and for the people that come and visit this place as well as each other. So as we get ready to start, today we're going to talk a little bit about the gym and all the new people who have been kind of going in. We'll talk a little bit about tomorrow and what's happening in D.C. And we'll end with some current events that are happening here locally at Fort Sam Houston as well as Fort Bliss. And we'll talk a little bit about Ray and his height challenge. It's time to pick on somebody. So, with that said,
it's my turn, I guess.
Yeah.
That's all right. We'll turn it back to you somehow.
It usually happens that way.
And we're looking at this stimulus stuff going back and forth. I'm like, it's getting kind of crazy there. How was you guys' 4th of July?
4th of July?
New Year's, duh.
Yeah, New Year's was actually really good, brother. I actually was asleep by 10:30.
Yeah, uneventful.
Tisk. Yeah, I was almost there. As soon as midnight hit, I did the whole Happy New Year's and went straight to bed right after that.
Yeah, I think that goes with age. The older we get,
This is my first one sober. That was kind of awesome.
That's awesome, bro. Not mine, but that's pretty awesome.
I did hear on the news that I saw a 6-year-old grandpa shot his granddaughter by accident. What goes up must come down, people.
That's a thing that a lot of people don't understand, man. It's like they get out there and they start firing these weapons up in the air and they forget that it has to come back down.
Yeah, gravity is still in effect on New Year's. It's not no magical thing.
What?
And then I heard some kid got shot. I guess a round went up and went through the wall and everything else at the angle and hit the kid in the head.
Ooh, yeah.
They still said he survived and stuff, but still, man.
Yeah, but that's a crappy way to be shot. I mean, be shot anyways, but...
Yeah. Bringing in New Year's and stuff, you got to worry about your kid getting shot and stuff. Like, heck, in Iraq, when they had, when they used to do celebratory fires and stuff, like when Saddam got killed or when he got captured and everything else, man, them bullets are going everywhere over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Stephen Moreno, he's put a couple of pictures of roofs he's gone to repair after the New Year with bullet holes, and he finds spent rounds or like the actual lead still sitting in the roofs and stuff, which I get it. Like, I understand and I'm all about it, but you got to be smart about it, man. Like, you can just fire it downwards, right? Like, into the ground. It's not going anywhere.
Then somebody's going to shoot their foot off
to do that.
They're going to shoot their foot off when they do that. I know when I was going to San Jac, it was like right at the New Year's, somebody's like, "Oh man, take a look at my roof and stuff." Had a 9mm rounds barely in the roof and stuff, starting to rust already. I was like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, that does suck majorly. So you're a resident gym rat.
Yeah.
How's it been going at the gym?
Well, it's starting to get a little crowded more. Like this morning, I got there. It's probably 4 times as many cars there were before. And you people, please don't take my equipment. If you see my stuff there, I ran to the bathroom real quick. Don't move in on the thing. Just going to be a minute. And they just sit there and chit chat on like I said, on the phone. Everybody else talking. Like, okay.
Okay, but how long is just a minute? I mean, are you going and you're rubbing one off, or?
No, just drink all that water. You just got to go real quick and come back.
Yeah.
And I try to knock out the weights real quick and then move on to something else. That way somebody else can go and take the equipment. But then you got the guys that sit there and they gravitate towards the women, and they just want to sit there by that.
It's week 1, so just give it a few more days, and they'll weed out.
Yeah, the numbers will start.
Yeah, like I said, I tell some of you guys, it's kind of creepy when you start crowding around women and you're not really working out, and everybody can just see you staring at them. That's really creepy now. And other people want to use the equipment. That's why you'll see me gravitate to the other side of the gym.
Is that where all the hotter women are? It's the other side of the gym?
Oh, no, I go away. I hate to say it. I got to go away from the women and stuff because, like I said, everybody's gravitating towards all those women. I'm like, okay, that part of the gym is going to be locked down for the whole time.
Yeah. So one of my clients is actually doing this weight loss thing, and it's kind of cool because I need that, push, right? They have a buy-in, and then they have a penalty if you gain a pound or gain weight. For every pound you gain, you got to put more money in. It's like it kind of forces you to not.
Well, you got your pros and cons though. You got to remember, this is your pound of fat and this is your pound of muscle. Okay, so what if you're getting more muscle and stuff?
Oh, well, that's true. But you still have to have that curve, right? So you'll lose some of that weight as you're starting to burn. Muscle burns fat.
Yeah.
So.
But what if you say, okay,
wait, hold on. So you're trying to say that a pound of fat and a pound of muscle weigh 2 different things?
No, I just said they weigh the same. I was saying the mass.
This
is a pound of muscle. This is a pound of fat. This is a pound of muscle. The mass size is different.
Yeah.
Like I said, so if they depends on your competition. Like a lot of people.
I was just about to
Oh no.
go into
I clown on people all the time. Like a pound is a pound, man.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. People do say that though. I clown on them. I was like, you just said like, okay, a pound of feathers and a pound of bowling balls is still a pound.
Yeah, I mean the amount of stuff it takes to do that, it's different, but
as like I said, I'll see people do that competition all the time about the whole who loses the most weight. But it's okay, say somebody has a lot more weight to lose than somebody else. So this person burned all their weight off already. Now they're starting to build up muscle. So now their mass is getting bigger.
Yeah,
so they're putting more weight on.
What they're doing is not weight, it's percentage.
Yeah, so that's when you start doing the whole taping and everything else. The best way to do it is actually have those machines that actually tell you how much fat you got on.
Right. I'm old school where they used to do the calipers and the weight and the measurements around your stomach and to determine how much your percent body fat was.
Yeah.
Well, I always had to get taped in the military. Like I was always overweight, but they're like, okay, it's all muscle, so you got to get taped.
Right.
They do a little pinchy thing. I said, caliber, like, okay, this is this.
Right. Those are always fun because, like back in the day, I really was fit. And like in high school, I swam, so there was a lot of muscle and stuff.
Hey, swim is the best.
To swim, yeah.
Swim is the best thing, though, man. That works everything.
Here, hold on. I got this for you.
Okay, yeah. We're gonna turn it over.
So,
liposuction,
bro, expensive.
Hey, I say it. Some people I know their company's insurance covers it. Sometimes you just got to say it's an emotional down thing or whatever. I know the military covers it.
Okay,
implants and inductions.
But that's okay. So that I have a problem with that, right? Like that's a quality of life more than like a medical need, right? Like you getting breast implants, that's not helping anything outside of your self-esteem. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I see it, right?
Yes, like I said, I used to see people get that in the military. Like all they gotta do is say it's emotionally messing with them, and all right, Uncle Sam pays for it. Like, some people it plays with your head. You see a.
Yeah, I get it, but I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right there before my wife sees this, and I get smacked, and I end up sleeping on the couch. But anything else happening at the gym, like outside of the huge influx?
Oh, they're doing more classes and everything else. Still doing the same social distancing. Got to wear your gloves. Got to wear your mask. That's the whole thing is you got to wear full gloves on there. Even though you're sweating all over the equipment and everything else, you got to wipe down. It's just kind of weird to me.
They're making you wear gloves?
Yeah, you got to make. You can't just have cut off gloves. You got to wear full gloves all the time. Even if you're doing your cardio, no matter what you're wearing, you got to wear full gloves.
Wow. So, is this kind of like?
Is this at the paid gym membership place?
That's the paid gym membership. I think that's across the board. And they just opened, like, some of them still have the showers closed down, so you gotta run home real quick. But the one I go to, they open the showers back up again, so now you can take a shower there. But before, you couldn't use the saunas, you couldn't use the basketball courts, you couldn't take a shower there, so you had to adjust your schedule accordingly or go to work stank.
Yeah.
And that definitely ain't happening.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut about this, but so you guys know what's going on tomorrow, right? In DC.
Yeah.
So not only are they going to count the electoral votes,
Isn't that when they have to certify them?
yeah, that's vice president will actually be certifying it. You know, there's all these conspiracy theories, right? Like all over the place. But there's been precedents, you know, like right now a lot of the media stuff is saying how nobody's ever questioned the
They're saying it's just more of a formality
right.
than anything.
But you know, the Democratic Party has actually contested the last 3 Republican president winners. So
Or have they pushed it that far, though, like saying they're going to stand up and say no?
yeah. They've contested it in the same fashion that the Republicans are talking about doing it for the last 3 Republican presidents. So they did it for Bush. They did it for President Trump, and who was the other one?
Bush.
No. It wasn't like 3 consecutive. But yeah,
Who was before Bush?
Reagan. But so it was Reagan, Bush. But I can't remember who the third one was. There was a little gap because I don't think they contested Bush Senior. But anyway, so you were saying though that they've actually
Yeah, so they're going to call it the National Guard to go out for, because I guess they were a petition or put their paperwork in for the protest tomorrow, so they ordered everything properly, so they're expecting there might be a little bit of violence out there, but they're just prepping everything up just in case. And I was telling you, like, it'd be kind of, as a soldier, it'd be hard trying to go against your own people and stuff, trying to keep the thing down. I know National Guard is okay, that's part of their training and everything else, but still, like, I'd rather be doing forest fires or stopping flooding or something like that. I would hate to go against my own people, like, it's getting out of control.
You know, we really haven't seen that since the Civil War. Like, well, I mean, a military force, right, going against. There's been other activations.
Well, they called them for a couple of protests and stuff. Like, I've seen, like, some of the videos where you'll see some of the protesters getting on the guys' faces. I'm like, come on, man, you get out of that soldier's face.
That's the thing. Like, I as an individual, as a civilian individual, I really think about, you know, some of these people and how they instigate the police, the military, and all these people. You know, and it's crazy for me when you instigate somebody, for so long, and then as a human being, they retaliate. You know, humans can only take so much, and we're not perfect. So for somebody to be in my face and be like cussing me out and everything else, after a while, man, I'm gonna get pissed and I'm gonna like move you away from my personal space. And if it's a baton or if it's the butt of my weapon,
well, yeah, and you move them away from your personal space. Now you're the one in trouble.
Yeah,
we're gonna try that in some other third world countries and stuff. You ain't gonna have that. Like when I was stationed in Korea, man, they used to beat the protesters down.
I was in Germany back in the day, and I was in a train, and there was a person who was fairly intoxicated, and the police came in and was talking to him, and the guy was not being responsive, and that police took out his ass baton and beat the living daylights out of that guy, man, and then arrested him. And I'm like, you know, if you do that in the States, we're so woke.
You're gonna get fired, or sued, and all this other stuff.
You know, But that leads to part of the problem that we're having today is people have no consequences for what they're doing. Therefore, somebody else gets the 15 minutes of fame, and somebody else gets the 15 minutes of fame and stuff. And it just, it really compounds the problem. At least in my opinion, it does.
Yeah, I know we were talking about this before. Like they changed the rules of engagement, like in Iraq. So, okay, somebody used to throw a rock at you and stuff, you could shoot back. Okay, then they changed the rule. Okay, don't shoot. You can't shoot back if they throw rocks at you. As soon as they found out about that in Iraq, they started rocking people to death. Almost killing soldiers with that. Everybody knows they start learning their limitation stuff, and they're just going to keep pushing it off.
Oh yeah, for sure. My undergraduate degree is in history. I have an undergraduate degree in history, and I studied a lot of Vietnam. And one of the things that we did completely, in my opinion, incorrectly in Vietnam, it was never an actual war. There was never a declaration of war. The rules of engagement were very different. It was a police action.
Yeah.
And, when you have to be fired upon and you have to be able to see the weapon, you actually have to see them firing and all this other stuff that goes in, you're just putting American lives at risk.
Yeah, because technically they were just observers the whole time.
Yeah.
They're to train them and just be observers. I'm like, okay, that sucks.
Yeah. So, I await, kind of like what Dan was talking about last week is, the global government and global politics, does affect a lot. But, it's the down, for me, it's not going to affect me as much as my local politics would affect me, unless, the new president activates the military and sends it against, the American civilians, then it affects all of us and there's a problem. Or, they close the economy completely for some stupid reason or whatever, right? Like,
to quarantine.
It's a 99.5% survivability rate.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, isn't that what he's talking about? He wants to shut down the country for
100 days.
Yeah.
Or no, masks for 100 days and then shut down.
Shut down.
Haven't we been
quarantine for
haven't we been on a mask for over 100 days?
Bro, we
it's the same thing.
And this is the thing, right? Like, I was actually talking to a friend of mine today at lunch. He had the COVID, and he was saying how he wore a mask in his home the entire time, and his family didn't. So masks do work, but it wasn't a cloth mask. He was wearing an N95. And the company that produces them, it's a local company here. Swears up and down it's 95% effective. So the fact that nobody in his family got it except for him, and they were all quarantined together, which goes to show you that it does kind of work. But I'm always my headphones are not malfunctioning today. I always wonder what it would have been had we just, after the initial 2 weeks of, flattening the curve, we just went back to normal. Herd immunity would have happened already, and granted, there's a lot of people that have suffered, but I don't think it's the number. The number's not high enough to have closed the entire country down.
Yeah.
I think that kind of debate's going to always be there with every, individual type of person.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Again, and masks alone aren't really going to stop the whole virus thing, because you're touching your face, touching this, taking the mask off.
That's always my favorite. Is when you go to fast food restaurants, they're all wearing a set of gloves, right? Yeah. And then they touched your food, they've touched your money, but they're not going to hand it to you. They put it on the tray. So they've touched it with their gloves, put it on the tray, grab the tray, hand it to you, and I'm like,
Oh yeah, if you see at the McDonald's,
that did
put it in,
nothing.
they swiped it, put the hand back in there, like
Yeah.
what? Like you said, just defeats the whole purpose and stuff.
Yeah.
So
So
we're never going to be in a clean and sterile environment, you know, 100% of the time. You know, it's
No.
virtually impossible. Yes, certain, you know, occupations can do that because, you know, that's what their job is to do. But outside of that, I mean, you know, we're never going to be completely
no, not at all.
sterile.
And that's I think part of a different problem and a different conversation is the number of people who want to live in a sterile environment. You know, if you live in a sterile environment, anything and everything is going to affect you differently, and it's going to be problematic, and it may be even fatal.
Yeah.
You know, that's why building your immunities.
Like the only way you can be 100% thing is if you stay at home, don't leave, have your food delivered, let it sit outside for 48 hours so it can.
Not even that. Like you got to legitimately live in a bubble, and be fed, you know, intravenously or something. Because even the
Get the
food,
vaccine. Get the vaccine.
yeah, that's
We were talking about that just a few minutes ago. Like that luxury complex had 60 vaccines before medical personnel did.
But there's also, that's crazy, right? Like, that's money. Like, nowhere else in the, well, no, I think everywhere else in the world, that would be the case. You know, where money talks and bullshit walks, right? And you know, I mean, people get off on all sorts of things because they have the funding for it. The thing that I'm, you know, I've been kind of keeping a close eye on is the number of medical professionals who are not taking the vaccine.
Yeah, and I just, was it I saw it on the news or something that, you know, one of the medical facilities is paying their employees, you know, like $500 to get, or if they get the vaccine. You know, so that's probably going to show you that there's a number of those who are not willing to take that.
Well, they were talking about adding $300 more to your stimulus check and stuff at one time.
See, okay, once you make it,
You gotta bribe them to take.
yeah,
That's kinda like,
that's
okay.
part of the problem, right? Like, you know, you mentioned the stimulus earlier, and you know, I understand that $600 could really be super beneficial for some, right? Or $1,200, or however much they're getting. It could really be extremely beneficial for some. But you know what else could be long-term more beneficial? It's opening everything back up. You know, at the end of the day, it really is one of those things where, you know, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. You know, right now we're sticking our little pinky in the holes of the dam, knowing fully well that the cracks are about to explode. So, Ray's turned the sign off.
Yeah, forgot to do that.
Yeah, you just wanted to show people your butt.
I did.
Twice.
I was saying she was about to break down that door.
Yeah, she was. So,
It says open.
I was like, oh.
it says open, but it says...
I get people like at the bank that say it, keep shaking, like, okay, it's not opening.
Yeah, it says 2:30. I mean,
3:30.
3:30. Okay, whatever. So, yeah, as we go down this rabbit hole that we hadn't even thought about talking, did you guys see the pictures that came out of Wuhan for New Year's?
No.
No.
Were they having a party?
It looked like, you know, Grand Central Station or Madison Square Garden. I mean, not Madison Square Garden.
Central Park?
You're talking about the Big Apple when the balls are
Yeah. Madison Ave. No.
Fifth
Anyway,
Avenue.
No. You know, this is to the side. I live there.
Yeah,
I'm a Yankee, and I can't remember. But like, there were tens of thousands of people celebrating the New Year's, and they showed the contrast to New York, and there was like nobody in the streets.
I didn't even watch the TV, so I didn't see like how anything turned out.
Yeah.
Oh, like New York, I think there was like they said they had like a handful of like first responders and their families. So going from having thousands and thousands of people to maybe like 100.
Yeah, it's.
I was always afraid for terrorist attacks, let alone freaking like COVID. That doesn't really scare me. It's like just the whole terrorist attacks, especially after that one they had for Christmas or the bombing for Christmas, the Christmas Day bombing.
Oh, yeah.
That was just a random act. That was a random act right there. Like, okay.
Yeah. The thing that really like has gotten me, the FBI basically took care of that in like 24 hours, 24 or 48 hours, like in a weekend.
About it.
Huh?
You don't even really hear about it anymore.
I know, and it's like
It's been a week ago.
like what? How can you process so much data in a weekend, right? And I get it, like you can call people and have stuff, but some things just take time.
Well, you got the VIN number, you got the videos, you got everything else. Like, okay, it's like a cut and dry case. Like, okay, some guy, he just went through, shot everybody. Okay, you see him right there. It's that guy.
I'm talking about like all the AT&T data, because supposedly like they were out without service for 2 days in that area. Like they were trying to figure out if the bombing was homegrown terrorists and stuff. And they were trying to figure out if the reason why it blew up right by the AT&T store or AT&T center.
Well, there was no. They haven't released saying they had a manifest or anything like that. So
but weren't they saying there was
assumptions.
something about those voting machines being sent over there to be?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. I just,
or whatever.
dude, like think about the. Did you guys get security clearances in the military?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Think about how long it took. Just like mine, it was like 2 months from the time that I filled out my paperwork.
That's quick. Mine took like a year and a half.
Mine only took like a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
They're like 2 weeks.
What the hell did you have on your background, bro?
Oh, it took a while.
'Cause, like,
It depends on your age and what you have done. Like it could take a minute, a couple of weeks, a couple of months. Like I don't know about no years. Freaking. Like I said, mine only took like not even 2 weeks probably.
no,
Because my all got done in basic training. Like we did our paperwork and stuff. They ran through all our stuff. Cause heck, I'm 18-year-old. How much background can you check? I mean, how much is
no,
there?
I mean, like they contacted everybody. Like the FBI came to my mom's house and interviewed my mother.
They didn't do all that for me. They never went to any of my people. Never called anybody.
Wow.
Like I said, it's all about your age.
You're blowing up stuff. That's why.
Like this, okay, you're 18-year-old. You have no real life. Okay, you went to high school. What are you gonna do? Contact your teachers?
I mean,
You would have a juvenile record. They just check your record real quick. Like this is modern times. They can just check it up. Like,
hey, what are you trying to say, man?
what did you do?
Hey, I'm just saying, like, I got mine in the 90s. I mean, that's modern times, man. It's not like...
That was the 1900s, bro.
They had to go through all the stone tablets. You know how many forklifts you got to go through those tablets? Get the crane in and stuff. Hey, this is the encyclopedia right here.
Yeah, there you go. I thought we were going to pick on Ray.
I told you we were going to turn it down to you.
Man, it's always me. It's all right, though. I still love y'all.
That's all right.
So over the weekend, there was a church shooting here in Texas. A guy trying to escape from the law hid in a church. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't read that one.
I guess the pastor found him somehow. Or?
Yeah, he was in the bathroom, and when he came in on Sunday morning to open up, and he was there, and the guy took the gun away from the pastor and shot him with a gun and stuff, which is nuts, right? But
The guy took the gun away from the pastor?
yeah,
Pastor came in there loaded?
Yeah.
Packing?
yeah, and that like I always one of the things when I trained my family to shoot and stuff. And we did the whole, this is how you work a weapon, this is how you not, if you see it here, don't touch it. Because I do keep a loaded weapon in 5 out of 5 different rooms in my house, so I'm never too far away from making sure you don't walk back out if you walk into my house. But I tell my kids, and I told my wife, it's like, if somebody's there, don't ever get close enough for them to take the weapon away from you. And if they're approaching you and getting into your space,
don't hesitate
to fire. And
I could see like a preacher walking in there and see somebody in the bathroom, like, hey, what's going on? Like, I
could see it.
It's your home, one thing. Church, you're like, okay, what's going on here?
But this guy was like freaking in his underwear.
Yeah. And if you've withdrawn your weapon, like if you've taken your weapon, unholstered it, at that point you're no longer just checking on somebody, right?
Yeah.
At that point you are, either going to or going to be killed.
Yeah, don't get close enough to where you have to, like, from a distance, hey, what are you doing in here? You can just determine from the threat, give yourself distance to determine the threat.
Correct. And that's I think, and I feel bad for the whole situation, but these are the times that we're living on, there was a drill sergeant from Fort Sam Houston that was gunned down this week.
This past weekend?
Yeah, like within the last few days. And then they also found another soldier unresponsive in her barracks at Fort Lewis. Which, of course, the media is hyping this up.
So they're military's getting really spotlight now after that, what's her name?
Yeah, Gillian, Jessica?
Yeah, after that one, and then they started finding bodies in the woods when they were looking for her. Like, okay.
Yeah, but and we've had this discussion where it is a town. I mean, there is crime. I mean, the military police is there for a reason. It's not like they're going to go, and police the battlefield. I mean, although you do, but you're in garrison. You're still doing traffic stops and all the
people don't know. So you got the same thing: domestics, DUIs, everything else you have in the civilian world.
Well, that's the thing. Crime and all that kind of stuff has always been there. Mm-hmm. It's just really spotlighted now.
Correct.
Yeah, because you don't have media sources running around the bases. Like, okay, here you got civilians can run anywhere with the news cameras and everything else. In military, they find out there's no civilian running around taking photos. If a soldier gets caught taking photos, they can get in trouble too. So it doesn't really leak out as much. It's more hush hush.
OPSEC.
Yeah.
That's to this day. I'm like, OPSEC is like one of the first things that goes through my head. It's like I have a hard time with social media because of that. Like, I don't like to post things because I don't really need to know, like, have people know what I'm doing. I'm not like one of these people that are, I took a poop today.
And you people out there, you got to remember, you start posting, hey, I'm going on vacation, I'm going here. You just told every crooked person, like, I can break in this person's house. I'm not going to be, this person's not going to be home for a whole month. Thanks for putting your itinerary on the freaking.
Exactly.
You're just asking to get jacked.
Mm-hmm. So there's a new law came about for drone pilots. Now, granted, it's going to take 32 months for it to completely be phased in. No, it's in effect now, but it's being phased in.
You can play ignorant still?
Yeah, for another 32 months. But at the end of the 32 months, your drones have to broadcast your location, like your physical location.
Where you are?
Where you are. Not just with a drone. Like the drone will be broadcasting
an RF tag.
Yeah, basically. And at some point they're going to go wirelessly. Like, it will have to have internet to broadcast. But right now it's just Wi-Fi and Bluetooth enabled.
Because some people are using GPS, like you can plug it in your drone and the drone go wherever you got to put it.
Correct. But there's a lot of drone operators that have been very concerned. Like I'm very concerned because if I'm flying like I have a drone that's $8,000. If I'm going to put that in the air and you want to come and jack it, like now you have a physical location of where I'm at with a controller, and all you got to do is you mug me, you take my controller, you take my phone, you take whatever I have, and a drone, and so it's things like that you got to start thinking, and you got to be cognizant. Like you said, don't post your stuff.
So basically, you're chipping your drone like you would chip your dog. Like, okay, this belongs to him.
No. Yeah.
So they want your physical location at your time, or just your home address and all that? Like
no. That was the one thing that they changed. They no longer authorities and the FAA will have an opportunity to see who you are, but like local people will not have your personal information.
So basically, like every airline has got their own flight designation or something.
Correct.
Like this one belongs to this person. Well, he physically lives here. That makes sense. You got to register your.
Yeah. Well, you've always had to register your drone as a Part 107, which is the commercial licensing.
That's if you fly legit. Most guys don't even register.
Oh, but it's getting to a point where it's not even going to happen. Like the software on the drones is not going to let you even lift off unless that is the RFID is
flight clearance. All
yeah.
Right. Did you schedule your thing for today? All right.
Yeah,
allowed to fly.
Restrictions.
Big government, man. And granted, like there are some idiots, right? Like,
a lot of people are weaponizing them things now, practicing with those things.
So there was a video. Some guy put a bottle rocket, or not the bottle rocket. What is it? The one that launches the little balls, the little firecrackers. It's like a Roman candle. They put a Roman candle on top of the drone, and they were flying it, and it was shooting it, and stuff. And then they lost control of it, and it was just shooting everybody. I was like, "That's what you get, you."
Hey, you got a good drone with electrical charges. It was power off those rockets and stuff, or whatever you want on it.
So, in a different lifetime, I actually built a robot that had a Nerf gun. The machine gun one that you could load a belt of darts onto. We actually built one that you could drive around and shoot. It was pretty cool.
That was your third career?
My fourth.
Okay.
My fourth.
Nick, there's like 15 years in between each career, so it's kind of aging itself a little bit more and more over time.
Fuck you.
There you go. Yeah.
I'll be 50 this year, though, bro.
Wow.
October 27th, I'll be 50, so be ready. I'm inviting you now to
the 50th
birthday party. We're going to have a
bash.
It is going to be a bash. I've started planning it already, so, you guys
So it's
all...
going to be like, everybody's going to be dressed in double black.
Yeah, baby. Mm-hmm. Especially you in that tiny little black dress of yours.
Thank you.
Well, Nick is sitting there going, "What the hell did I get myself into?"
Mm-hmm. Mic drop.
Yeah. So,
we just want to see the babies.
So I'm gonna look something up really quick, just because I want to talk about it. So why don't you guys give me some time to
What's your New Year's resolution?
That I don't make resolutions.
That's what. Get out of here. You're fired.
I know.
When
It's supposed to be like to
when do you
be
get
a
back in the
better
gym?
person. I need to get back in the gym. After this whole COVID break that I took, and
When do you know you no more? Like, okay, where's this guy? We keep sending you invites. You never show up. You don't know. You don't know us no more.
Hey, like, if you guys would just work out in the morning, man.
I wake up at 5. I'll go at 5 o'clock in the morning. You're more than welcome to come.
I just okay, but see, I'm too cheap to pay for a gym membership.
It's $10 a month.
$10.
Is it really? Like, is it just $10?
Well, you pay like
There you go.
You got the $45 like initial, or they got specials going on. You don't pay anything. You just pay the $10 a month. Especially right now in the New Year's, they always got the best deals. Like, okay, all you gotta do is pay $10 a month. And then until at the end of the year, you might, for a renewal thing, they might do the $45 or something like that.
See, I'm too cheap. Like that's the one thing. I have a Y membership and I have 3 months, but it's been closed since March. You know, and
In the YMCA, they base their things off of basically how much you make.
I'm self-employed, so I make diddly.
Yeah, so you can get in for really cheap and everything. I checked out the one in here, and the machines have it where they got to plug. They only let you lift so much. Like they try to put you at a limit, whatever, so you don't hurt yourself. And they actually got to plug it in the machines. I'm like, no, I can't do this. I got to lift more than that.
I got to man. Oh. Yeah. Anyway, I'll not discuss the Sunday opening of the House of Representatives and their woman. Yeah.
Prayer.
Yeah. That was crazy. And then, you know, the monotheistic God that goes by many names in many religions. Brahma.
Yeah.
A man. A woman. Like, we really have lost our freaking minds.
It's gonna get worse.
It's just making us look like a joke.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about the other day, I was like, they're talking about renaming a bunch of schools because Washington had slaves, and Lincoln, he wasn't really full. I was like, oh man, this is going crazy. Like, okay, what you gonna name them now?
I mean, if that's the case, then
You gonna take them off the dollar bill?
the only thing that should be allowable would be, the Native American people and all the
Not even
indigenous
that.
people.
So what are you gonna do? Hey, if you guys don't want your $1 bills, your quarters, because they got Washington, Lincoln, or your pennies, I'll take some.
Oh, your $5 bills.
Yeah, I'm saying
over.
I'll take them off your hands if you don't.
Jackson on the 20.
Yeah.
Benjamin on the 100. I send them to us.
But think about it. It's gonna happen. They're gonna start talking about the bills now. I'm like, oh Lord, freaking.
Yeah. Well, the California there's been.
They're gonna change Washington D.C. now because name of Washington. No.
Yeah. No, but there was a group in California that was fighting to have "In God We Trust" removed from all currency because it was offensive to them. Like, come on. If you look for it, you're gonna find it.
It's
Stop
not
looking.
all rainbows and unicorns.
Yeah.
I still think everybody should be mandated to serve in the military abroad. Like, go live in a different country, whether it's
Just see how
in the military or whatchamacallit. What was the Peace Corps? Just go see how other people live, so that you can be super thankful
So you can appreciate what you have.
Yeah, for sure. Because anyway, so I want to officially invite everybody, and we're actually going to have the podcast there.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask about that.
And we'll be doing the hike. Not only are we going to have the podcast, we'll have a table with goodies and stuff, and then we'll
And
have.
I'll be at work again. No.
You can ask for the day off, Nick. There's this stuff called vacation time.
Meh.
So on February 27th, from 8 a.m. Central Standard Time on Val 22 is doing the Veteran Suicide Prevention Hike in Lake Jackson, and they're meeting at the Lake Jackson Civic Center. And I'll put the link in the description of the video. But this is always, we've done it a few years, and it's been super awesome. These guys are phenomenal at what they do. So this is one of their biggest fundraisers. So if you can make it, I highly recommend that you do. If not, support them anyway. Send a few bucks their way. So from 0800 to 1200 at the Lake Jackson Civic Center is their walk, and then they'll have resource booth, veteran-owned business booths, vendor booths, moonwalk, snow cones, military vehicles, and more.
What? They're gonna have military vehicles?
Yeah, they usually do. The hike is approximately 4 miles. and they'll have water stations and stuff, and it's a lot of fun because the camaraderie that comes afterwards is super super cool. I went 2 years ago was my first one, I think, and I made some great friends at that point. So
Did you walk it?
I did.
Okay.
I don't buy it. I want to see video.
See, this is the thing. Like, you guys should need to understand. I may be fat, but I can walk. Like, I can walk because I enjoy walking about as much as I enjoy driving, which is a lot.
You do that sachet?
Yeah, baby. Yeah. So, so there's that. There's some other hikes that'll be happening throughout, and they actually happen all over the U.S. So, you're not going to be there, but we will. And then the other thing that we will. These guys don't know about it, so I'm going to drop it on their lap.
I didn't hear it. Did you hear it? I didn't hear it.
There's a couple of opportunities for us that have been approached, or we've been approached to participate in outside of having a podcast. There is a local company that wants to provide some coffee for us to give away. So we'll be looking at doing something like that. Maybe adding coffee to the stuff that you can buy. And then there's a group of veterans in the Dallas area that started a business alliance a while back, and they kind of want to expand across the state, and they've changed their name from the Rockwall Veteran Business Alliance to the Patriot Business Alliance. I want to say it's the Patriot Business Alliance, and it's one of those things where a bunch of business owners have gotten together to help and create content to provide for not only veterans at this point, but patriots, first responders, and people that want to start their own business and be able and be successful and have a support structure for it. There's I don't know if you guys are members of the veteran tribe. Oh my God, now I'm like VetBiz tribe, I think it's what it's called. But it's a veteran business network. But they're looking at expanding into the major cities, so Dallas, Houston, San Antonio, El Paso, Fort Worth, and Amarillo, and they kind of approached us about it, and they wanted to see what they would think and what we thought about kind of helping with that as well. And it's kind of cool in my opinion, and of course we will have a huge discussion about this off air and stuff, but
yeah, so this is a perfect time to bring it up right now.
Yeah, no, I'm just these are we would talk about it after. I just these are there's so many things. One of the things that we had talked about was providing resources for other people. Mm-hmm. This is a great resource, kind of like Val 22 and why can I never think of the Warriors Refuge? Yes, I always want to say Camp Hope, but but the Warriors Refuge is also another great resource for us and stuff. So those are the kind of things that I think bring value to our podcast. Is we provide those resources
to expand, our footprint and what we can do to help others as well.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. Because that's the one big thing that I think has been driving us, at least for me. It's the driving factor.
That was the whole point of the show, anyway. So
yeah, so always providing services. So
I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
What else is coming up? That's I should.
Hey, we asked you.
It's coming up, man. It's like Valentine's Day, man. It's all in the stores and everything.
Crazy.
It's like Christmas Eve and Valentine's Day stuff is out.
Valentine's over too overrated again, especially right now. People are trying to save money. Man,
Bro,
That's Hallmark's holiday. Come on.
hey, don't, people out there, don't go broke trying to just. Times are tough. Don't kill yourself out there.
who's the one that went to church?
No, not me.
That wasn't me either.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, don't break your back trying to do stuff. Don't believe the hype.
Yeah, that's a big thing. It's
Save your money up. Wait for a better time. Buy something that's gonna last forever.
buy weights.
Yeah, there you go.
Buy a bench for weights.
No, I can't do the whole buying stuff at home because I got to go work out. Because if I'm at home, I'm not going to work out. I'm just going to look at it. That thing's going to collect freaking clothes and everything else on it.
Dust? My stuff?
I had a Bowflex for quite some time, and I used it maybe a month and a half.
There's got to be a big graveyard for exercise equipment.
Oh yeah, bro.
People garages are just collecting that stuff. Like, okay.
So my son found a show on Netflix. It's called Forged in Fire, or Fire Forged, or something to that effect. But and it's basically they take like items like a bench and the weights and build knives and swords and stuff. And it was pretty cool because like the last show that I watched, they actually took a bench and a bar. They didn't use the cast iron for the weights, but because it's cast iron, it's kind of hard. But they were chopping everything up, man, and they made these like Bowie knives. Dude, they're legit cool.
Yeah, and people don't realize them weights are expensive. It's like $1 a pound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if you get a 50-pound dumbbell, man, that's $50 right there.
I don't understand that though. To tell you the honest truth, I really don't understand why it's $1 a pound.
That's just metal itself. Yeah, paying for the weight, paying for the metal.
I guess.
That's why you used to, back in the days, you used to have the water-filled weights. that we used the best all over the place as kids. Like, oh.
Oh, no. I've never had the... one thing that we did when I was in basic training, we took a gallon jug, the round ones that, the stripper came in, or the wax, and we filled it with hot water, and that's how we would iron our BDUs.
What the heck?
In basic training?
In basic training, yeah.
We never ironed anything.
That really in the 1900s then.
Bro,
but basic training,
high speed,
iron anything.
High speed, low drag. I used to shine my boots, like spit shine my boots.
Well, yeah,
we did our boots and went in uniforms.
But we didn't iron.
The only thing we did was shine our boots.
Yeah, well.
Even then, it wasn't high shine or anything. It was just basic. Don't make sure your shoes are brown. Yeah, you're just doing a brush off, apply on, brush off.
Did you have the black ones?
Was that officer basic training stuff?
No.
Yeah, your no dot boots.
We did have dot and no dot.
That's about it.
And then egg and no egg days. Did you guys have egg and no egg?
What the hell's an egg day?
So when I was going through, we had the cholesterol issues, right? Like, cholesterol was not a good thing.
But you guys are eating pterodactyl eggs. Those things are huge.
Well, probably. But yeah, we had egg and no egg day.
No.
And with defect.
I don't remember much of what we ate, but...
You never had time to remember.
Well,
Keep scooting.
Asses and elbows. Asses and elbows.
So we didn't even sit down. We just first stuff. You just keep sliding your tray and trying to eat until you get to the table.
The best place to be is right in the middle, because you have until the last person finishes eating to get up and get out. At least that's how it was. Like, the first person was done by the time the last person was getting their food.
Oh, the way they did it when we first went in, it was okay. The first person grabbed a tray, you had to stand up. You didn't sit down. You just ate and walked and stuff until you got to the end of the table and stuff, and then you dumped whatever was left over and just kept going.
No.
But that was like at the beginning. Then you started to sit down like halfway through.
We sat down. I don't.
It all depends on who the drill sergeant is.
Yeah. I had
Everybody's different.
Staff Sergeant Campbell, tall black guy. And the only reason why I remember him, we had a couple of 0 weeks, and I'm sitting in the chow hall, and he walks up, and he stands right above me. And this man is like 6'5", 6'6", you know. And I'm sitting down, and he grabs my face, and he starts going like this on my eyebrow, and he's like, "Private, what the fuck is that on your eye?" And I'm like, "Sergeant, it's a birthmark." He goes, "No, it's not. Some private fucked you last night and come all over your face, didn't he?" I was like, it's gonna be an awesome few weeks here. And then he turned out to be our senior drill, and
Fuck with you every day.
every fucking day.
Yeah.
He's the one that told me he was gonna have hair grow on my face. We were in a FTX, and the first FTX that you go through, and my battle buddy was such an asshole, like a legit asshole. Love him to death, but he was an asshole. And I told him I hadn't shaved, because I didn't need to shave, you know. And he made it known in a formation that I hadn't shaved. And Sergeant Campbell was like, "Medina, get over here." And he's like, "When was the last time you shaved?" I was like,
Never.
No, I had shaved like a week and a half before, so I had a little stubble, you know. And he goes, "Boy, I'm gonna make you a man. I'm gonna put some hair in that face of yours. Every time I call your name, you're gonna run up here, dry shave, and get back in formation." Bro, talk about a shitty FTX, because that motherfucker like had my name. Like he's.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You're ready to roll?
Yeah. So, before we go, I want to tell you guys, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It's the best way to support the channel. We will provide more information for the Silky Hike. Hopefully you guys can come. Share the podcast. Oh, I was going to tell you. Had a really cool moment yesterday. Got a new client, and I was shooting the house for them, and the lady's like, "Hey Lewis, I have a question for you. On your podcast last week, you had a Coast Guard guy. How much information can you share with me?"
Yours?
No, that's next door. How much information can you share with me about retirement? So we go through this whole thing, and I was like, this is just some random person that I met, a few months ago, and she's been watching the show, and her husband's about to get out of the Coast Guard, and she was like, I need to ask you questions about it. So I think it's super awesome that now the reach is starting to get further and further. Not only here locally, because she doesn't live in Pearland or Alvin. She lives down in Alago. No, whatever no, on 45 right before Texas City, there's that
Del Lago.
Yeah, that's it. So that's where she lives, and I was like, man, that's pretty cool. So yeah, with that said, know that we love you. Know that you matter, and as we always say, this place would not be the same without you. So if there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Our email address is chat@letstalkaboutitvet.com, or you can reach us at Let's Talk About It on Facebook. And yeah, man, please don't let a small situation dictate the rest of your life. So, with that,
All right, Charlie Mike.